We have things ready here. Okay. So today we will be looking at the last practical measure that I want to share with you guys as it relates to cyber safety. Okay. So we had looked at the locking of your devices as one of the practical measures. We looked at, of course, making our passwords complex and easy to remember at the same time for us. And today we're going to be looking at the last practical measure that will help you build that defense against possible cyber attacks. Okay, but before I proceed, I would like to know if any of you have any questions with what we covered during or between Monday and yesterday. Any clarifications or questions regarding that, please let me know. And thereafter, we can proceed with the content for today.
Hi, Ms. Dulcie. Maybe I could ask you my question about one item yesterday, but at the end of the session today, because I wanted to ask you about the pass. But I can ask you, when you come to the end of the session. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Let me fix my volume. I need a little bit low. Okay, that's better. Yes, Ms. Hyde. Sorry, so to verify what you had said, you will wait at the end of the session to pose your question.
Yes, I'm rather embarrassed about this because it looks as though I did put on LastPass before, but I seem to have put it on way before COVID, a long time ago. And now I cannot remember the password and I'm having problems getting into to recover it, right? That was my point.
Okay, so, I see. Yeah, as I had shared yesterday, unfortunately, LastPass does not allow a reset of password.
Yes, I remember that. So what would I do?
Because of the security reasons, right? So you might be required to create another account with a new email address.
Wait, a new email address? I only have one email address. You mean I'd have to create an email address just for this?
Yes.
Is that okay? Oh, shoot.
Because if you try using the same email account, it will tell you that that account is already in use.
It's telling me that. That's why.
Yes, it will not allow you to log in again with another password.
Oh God, I have to go create another email address. Oh dear.
But perhaps we can exchange contacts so that I can provide you more detail with that. Because
okay, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Hyde. We'll do that. We'll contact you afterwards. Or I will ask Ms. Rivera to help me with that as well.
Sure, no problem.
Okay, thank you, ladies. Well, let's get into this afternoon's content. As I had mentioned, what I want to share with you is the security measures as it relates to phishing, right? This concept is not new, so perhaps many of you have heard of it before, but it's important to understand that as online users, right, as net surfers, we need to be able to understand what it is and how it looks so that whenever we get to face it or we get to deal with something like that, we are prepared to deal with it or to handle the situation, okay? So this part of this session is more of an awareness because It's only for you to be more attentive and aware as to what the phishing attempts would look like. Okay. So let me jump into what is phishing. The concept is pronounced like the term phishing, the action verb to fish. And this scam normally involves the use of messages and emails. Okay, so they would come in forms of text messages or emails. And the fishers, those are the people we consider doing the attack or wanting to scam you. They normally are disguised as IT professionals. They are disguised as your bank. And they often also come disguised as different social media platforms. So they would try to contact you disguised as these individuals or organizations, for example, right? And the actual goal of phishing is to convince you or to try to get you to pass along sensitive data, right? And some of the sensitive data that you own is, of course, your passwords to your accounts, could be usernames, and of course, your banking details, such as your bank PIN number, right? So this is a little bit different from what we have seen before in terms of the locking your device and, of course, using strong passwords. When it comes to phishing, this is highly dependent on you, what it is that you will do to give them access to this sensitive information. And that is why I think it's really important for us to have this awareness on what phishing looks like. So how to recognize a phishing attempt? Right? How do we recognize that we are being targeted to become victims? Phishing attempts may look like an email or message that says they have noticed some suspicious activity or login attempts in your account. Right, so these again can come from an email address that looks similar to your bank's email address or to your bank's website address. They might even use your bank's logo. Again, it will come disguised as people that you can trust or that you are familiar with. Phishing attempts also may say or may claim that there's a problem with your account information and you're required to do something about it. Phishing attempts as well can say that you must confirm some personal information. Okay? That they probably need you to verify that this is your phone number or that this is your address, and require you to confirm that by either replying to the email or clicking a link, something like that. Phishing attempts also can say that you're eligible for a prize, and for you to be able to claim it, again, you have to send details for probably your address. Sometimes it can say that you have won money, and for you to claim the prize, you need to send them your banking details, your account number. Right, so these are phishing attempts. And last but not least, some of them may offer you free stuff. Again, these are different phases of phishing attempts. These are what the emails or messages can say in order to get you to bite the bait. Mr. Rodney, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
Yes, thank you very much, Ms. Ko. On this weekend, over the weekend, I got a message apparently from Facebook, right? On my Yahoo email account saying that my primary email address has been changed. And if I didn't do it, well, then I need to check my account. If I did it, well, then it's fine. Basically, that's the wording, right? Would you consider it to be a possible phishing attempt? Because they didn't ask me to provide any information or to do anything, just to check my account.
Okay. And we're going to look at that later on in a slides, but to answer that, right? The first thing you as the user need to question is, did you genuinely change your account? If you did, then it's legitimate. They're just verifying for security that it was you. So if it was you, then nothing to worry about. But if you know that you did not make any changes and you're getting this message, then this is where the red flag or the thinking bell needs to come in, and where you question whether it is an attempt, a phishing attempt, to put it that way.
Well, I know for sure that I did change my password for Facebook on your urging, right? So you are part of this problem right now.
Okay.
I did change my password, and also I went into my Facebook account and I did quite a number of changes in terms of, for example, hiding my friends list and the other things that you had listed. I think 3 things you had listed. So I was very active on my Facebook page, right? But I did not do anything regarding my email account. So I don't know.
Okay, perhaps we will need to study the message a little bit more in detail to see what exactly it is saying that it changed. And some companies tell you the location where it was changed at the time. And the same happens if somebody tries to log into another account, right? To log into your account, for example. And it would verify again to see if it was you. And if not, then it would tell you how to proceed.
Thank you, Ms. Cole. Okay.
And yes, Mr. Rodney, and to you all, it will be very challenging to determine whether it's a legitimate email or message or if it's a phishing scam, right? So my intention here is just to make you curious enough to question it. Okay, sometimes they will be legitimate, but it's just you being aware of the danger that may bring with it. But thanks for sharing that, Mr. Rodney. Okay. So again, as I had mentioned, these are what phishing attempts may look like. So I want to share with you a couple of examples that we have obtained of legitimate phishing attempts. And you will see how close they look to it being real, a real request. Okay. So this example here is for Netflix. If you are a Netflix user, then you run the risk of getting a phishing attempt or phishing attack attempt against your account. So here, from the get-go, you can see that this message or this email looks quite legitimate, right? For those of you that are familiar with Netflix, the logo looks correct, like the color looks correct, and it looks kind of professional. It seems like a legitimate email. So here, the email reads, please update your payment details, right? It says, hi there, we're having some trouble with your current billing information. We'll try again, but in the meantime, you may want to update your payment details. And then it gives you a link where you can click to update your account now. Right, and then thereafter it says, if you need help, we're here if you need it. Visit the help center or contact us now. Signed, your friends at Netflix. It doesn't look dangerous. It doesn't seem threatening. And why does it look legitimate? Let's go through the different aspects of this phishing attempt. First of all, as I mentioned, these phishers are going to come disguised as someone you know, something you're familiar with, or someone you trust. So if you are a Netflix user, you can very well think that this is a legitimate email from Netflix, right? It has the logo, it uses the company's information. The second part is your account is on hold, right? So that already is indicating to you, there's a problem. There might be a problem with your account. You might lose your access to Netflix. So maybe you want to deal with the situation. It brings across that sense of urgency. The third part here is the greeting. It says, hi there, right? When it comes with phishing attempts or these scams, they would normally be very genetic. The greeting would be very genetic. Okay. Netflix has your contact information. Netflix has if you are paying a subscription, they have your credit card information. So they obviously know your name, right? So when you see generic greetings, this is something, again, that should raise a red flag. If it's an original email, normally it would have, hi, Delcy, hi, Marjorie, for example, right? So the hi there is quite generic. And the other aspect that we're going to look at here is the link to update your account now, right? So it gives you a link where it makes you think that, you know what, maybe I just need to enter or update my phone number or my billing information, and my account should be good to go. So again, this is what we call a bait. Because of our trusting human nature, we feel like it's not a big deal. But the problem here is, if you click the link that says update account now, you have no idea that this link is going directly to the Netflix company, right? It's just disguised. It makes you think that indeed this will lead me to update my account. But in the back end, what happens? Once you click that link, it takes you to somewhere or someplace online that gives access to the cyber attackers. It gives access to the scammers. And once you update your billing information there, they have access to that information at the same time. Right, so that is how this phishing scam would work. Again, it looks legitimate, but this is an actual phishing attempt. So this is another example. With this example, it's an email. It has all the aspects of an original email, but the email message reads, my name is Peggy Altman, the personal assistant of Miss Doris Buffet, a philanthropist and founder of a large private foundation. She is on the mission to give it all away while living. She always had the idea that wealth should be used to help each other, which made her decide to give it all. Kindly acknowledge this message by replying, and I will get back to you with more details. And it gives you a link below to read more about her. Sincerely, Peggy Altman. Okay. So based on what we have seen in the previous example, what would be a red flag in this email that could probably alert to you that, you know, I need to question this email? What do you see as a red flag in this email?
Well, for one, Ms. Ko, he says on the sent, the date, then it says to you, right? And it doesn't really identify you except by your email address, which they obviously have access to. So that would be, for me, a red flag, no?
Okay. So we look at the email address, right? Very good. We are to look where this email is coming from. Any other red flag that you guys would note from this email message?
Just the fact that somebody is giving away money, free money. No, I don't think anybody is that generous to give to people who they do not know.
Right. It seems too good to be true. They chose you out of everyone to receive an amount of wealth. So the nature of the email itself is already a red flag, correct? Okay, anything else? Or everything looks okay in this email?
And it doesn't have a deadline to tell you within a certain time, more or less. I guess could be some consideration.
It doesn't give you a deadline by when you are to claim the will, for example.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So it doesn't give you that information because it wants you to reply back, right? It says, kindly acknowledge this message by replying back and I will get back to you with more details. So it gives you that little curiosity as to, you know, maybe it's true. Let me see if it's true and what I need to do to get the money. So again, guys, yes, those are red flags. And remember, phishing attempts will more than likely ask you to click something or to download an attachment, right? So here it's asking you to click a link to read more about Miss Doris Buffet. So again, when you click that link, you don't know where that link is leading you to. But more than likely that link is you giving them access to either your computer, either your passwords or your email account, right? So again, as I mentioned, what they're looking for is important information, something of value that they can get from you. Okay, so these are examples of email phishing attempts. Now, there are phishing attempts that are done through text messages, okay? And if I'm not mistaken, for module 1, one of you had shared about the WhatsApp message that had requested you to give your friend a 6-digit code. And I was able to find that message. And I'm not sure how many of you actually got or received this WhatsApp message. But phishing attempts coming through the form of a text message, they are called smishing instead of phishing. Smishing because of the SMS. SMS stands for short message service, right? So we have phishing and we also have smishing, but we'll just keep it as a phishing attempt. So this is the message that was being shared on WhatsApp, and it says, hello, I'm sorry. I sent you a 6-digit code SMS by mistake. Can you pass it to me, please? It is urgent. And this message would have come from one of your contacts. Okay. So here, because you see it's a message that comes from one of your contacts, it's difficult for you to stop and question, right? If it's coming from a coworker, a friend, or maybe someone from the Cancer Group Society, it's really hard to doubt that it's legitimate. But nonetheless, it's important for us to stop and think, you know, is this something that Miss Rita would message me that I sent, you know, that she needs a 6-digit code that she sent me? Again, we need to stop and question and verify if this is something legitimate, if it's real. If in the event we send the digit code or we reply to the SMS, this is us giving access to the scammers to our device, to our phone. So once they get access to our phone, they can get your accounts, they can log into your Facebook, they could log into your Instagram, they can get access to your backup services if you have any there. So again, these are different attempts to scam you out of valuable information or personal details that they can get access to your resources, right? This is another example of a phishing attempt via text message. You have won $5,000. The price needs to be claimed ASAP. Please reply with your bank information so we can deposit the money into your account. Again, they're offering you something free. You're getting $5,000. All you need to do is give me your banking information so that I can deposit it. It sounds pretty legitimate, right? I mean, there's nothing bad about that. But again, your red flags. This is a phishing attempt. And just one more, again, to make you a little bit more aware of how the different disguises they may come. This says your Apple ID account has been locked due to unauthorized login attempts. Please log in here and verify your information. And it gives you a link at the bottom for you to click and access your login information. Okay.
Miss Delcy?
Yes, Ms. Arzu.
That last one, how do you know that is not legit? How would you know? Because I have gotten things like that, even though I'm always skeptical, but how do you know it's not legit?
The one with your Apple ID account?
Right.
Okay. You can tell that this is not legitimate because they normally would send your notifications or verifications over email. Okay, so this has to do with what we call two-factor authentication, right? And normally they would notify you via email. It's very rare that Apple would contact you through your phone number, right? You don't normally register your phone number on Apple or for an Apple ID. It would normally be just your email address. And they would not ask you to log in through this link. They normally would say, okay, go back to your Apple account to reset your password, for example, or to verify information. Right? So that way, you as the user, you know what's the legitimate location for your Apple ID, correct? How you would locate that. So a legitimate message would lead you towards, will guide you what to do. It would say, go to the, I'm not quite familiar with the Apple products, but it would probably lead you to their original website or to your account on your, where you, the settings where you edit your account information to verify your login information or reset your password if needs be. Right? So with this one, for example, right? It's asking you, it puts in some sort of fear into you, again, because we're talking cyber safety. It puts in some sort of fear into you for you to react quickly. As soon as you hear someone is trying to access my Apple ID or my account information, you know, you are expected to, and it's again, human nature to react and want to check your login information or your account information. And what's easier to do it and quicker, what the quickest way to do it? To just tap the link, right? So should you get any notification that your account has been compromised, my recommendation is go to your account, whether it's your Google account, whether it's your Apple ID, your Apple account, whether it's your Windows account, go in there and you reset your password. Do not click on any link, because at that point, we are not sure where we're going with that link, where it will lead us to. Anybody else has any questions regarding these phishing attacks?
How if you just delete it? Will it won't affect your phone? It won't affect you? If you just delete the message.
Right. You can delete the message because it's just a message. It's not deleting your account. It's not going to block your phone, anything like that. So you can delete the message to avoid the risk of actually clicking on the link or tapping on the link.
If you ignore it and just leave it on your account, will it eventually just disappear? Will they withdraw it or?
No, Miss Cordelia, once they send the email, it will stay there because their hope is that you will click the link sometime. Right, so at no point in time, they will retract that. It's up to you to either delete it or ignore it and just leave it in your inbox if it's an email, or if it's a message, to just leave it in your message inbox as well, right? But if you already have that sense or doubt that it's a phishing attempt, the best thing to do is to just delete it.
Okay.
So you get rid of the risk there. They may attempt again in a different way, but again, we need to raise our red flags whenever we see that. And if it happens again, we delete it again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too for the question. Right? And those are things that we need to understand. We are to ask these questions because when we face an attempt, a phishing attempt, we want to be confident that we're doing the right thing, right? So what to do if you suspect an attack? And I guess this is what we addresses again Miss Cordelia's question. What if you suspect that you received a phishing attempt email or a text message? The first thing you're to ask, do I have an account with this company or do I know the person that contacted me? So again, if you receive that Netflix phishing attempt, do you even own a Netflix account? Do you have a subscription with them? If you don't, delete the email and block the sender. There's no question there. Why would you receive an email from Netflix if you have not signed up with them? If you have an account with them, you have a subscription, or it's coming from the bank that you bank with, and you have that doubt, the best thing to do is to call them on a phone number or to a phone number that you know is legitimate and verify. Call the bank and say, you know what? I received this email saying that my account is compromised or that I need to update my banking details. Can you confirm if this is something that you sent to me or what's not? And express to them, you know, I just want to be sure that you sent it to me. And the bank will be able to verify that for you. They will say, yes, ma'am, we're following up on banking details, or no, it wasn't us. And what do? Again, we delete the email and we block the sender, right? So we need to first of all question, do we know this person who sent you the email? If not, it's best not to pursue that curiosity. And second of all, do not click on any links once you already have any doubt from that email or that message, right? Do not click on any of the links. It's best to be safe than sorry. You can always contact the company or the person to verify or confirm if they did send the email or the message, okay? So again, these are two safety measures that we can apply in the event we think that we have received a phishing scam attempt, right? Miss Sonia, I see your hand is up.
Yes, Mr. Elsie, about this phishing, I'm glad that this came up. I remember, like, say last week in my WhatsApp message, I got somebody and the picture came up and saying, hi, how are you doing today? The number was like 1 and 99 followed by 7 or 8 digits. Nothing that I could recall. Right away, I blocked that number. Was that okay, right? Or would it pop up again?
Yes, that's okay. That is that sounds like it was a phishing attempt as well. And I just shared with you phishing attempts via email, phishing attempts via text messages, and there's also phishing attempts through a phone call. And I think that's what, I'm not sure if you received a phone call or a message, Miss Sonia.
I received a message. It was in a WhatsApp,
message.
and I showed it to my husband.
Okay.
I said, I don't know who this, because the picture was there. But like right away, I said, this must be a scam. And then I just hurry block it. And
Right.
he said, okay, that's okay, because maybe now come back.
Yes, so that was an appropriate reaction to that text message. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Elsie.
I'm not sure if some of you had been victim or had were at risk of falling victim, but a few years ago, if you can recall, for Digi customers, there was a time when you would receive a lot of missed calls from international numbers. Right? And then Digi would send their press release saying that these are attempts, scam attempts. Those would have been examples of phishing attempts using phone call. And how those would work would be they won't wait for you to answer. They're just leaving a missed call. So that when you see the missed call, you would want to call back to see, what it is that the person wanted, or why is it that they were contacting you. And upon you dialing back, that is you giving them access to your device, right? You unknowingly give them access to your device by just returning the call. Okay. So yes, again, that's another example of a phishing attempt. I had totally forgotten about that. But those are possibilities again. Miss Maya, I see your hand is up.
Yes, I would like to share an incident that happened maybe about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I got a friend request from someone that seemed quite presentable, so I accepted the friend request, and we were conversing for a while and through emails and whatever. And then it got to the point where the person said, oh, they are a captain of a ship and whatever, and they were on the seas, and they were about so many miles, and they were pirate ships and whatever. And he had this amount of money that he wanted to send to me for me to safeguard, right? So I just followed up with everything. And then the person said, this security place will inform you of how you can get it. So I said, okay, whatever. So then after that, the person from the security place that apparently had this parcel to send to me contacted me and said, we have a parcel, it's in your name. They even sent me a picture of what the parcel looks like. And they said, we have this parcel, but it's gonna cost so and so. So I told the person that was emailing me, I said, if you had so much money in your possession, why didn't you just pay the whatever it was to have it shipped to me, right? And apparently the person got really angry. I said, but this makes no sense. I said, if I am going to send somebody X amount of dollars in a box, in a vault, where he even gave me the code, right, for that vault that was supposed to arrive to me. I said I wouldn't have put an expense on the individual saying, oh, now you have to pay now the duties or whatever to take out whatever it is. I said I would have paid it up front. I said, so why didn't you? You said you have that amount of money, you should have just paid it off. So he said, but I am in the seas. I said, but you deposited the item to the security company. I said, it doesn't make any sense. So he said something about some part in the ship that had gotten spoiled. So I Googled it and I realized that there were so many emails that had absolutely the same format that was just circulating, and how many women, it was some burned box or something. So I looked that up on Google and I found out the same emails, that these people have just been circulating to so and so. And then that happened about 2 years ago. And then about 6 months ago, I was involved with a WhatsApp group in India. And so apparently this person also got on the WhatsApp group, and then he contacted somebody from that same WhatsApp group, and then he contacted me and said, hello. So I just responded, hello. And then he started telling me about this Bitcoin and whatever. And I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not interested. And then he started telling me, instead of saying mom, he said, ma, right? And I said, you sound Nigerian. I said, because I only know, I have heard them speak before, and it's always ma. And right after that, I started getting phone calls from numbers in Netherlands and this, and there would just be one phone call, and they wouldn't wait for you to pick up, right? And it just rings and it goes right off. And so I immediately, even before it rings the second time, I would just, cut it off and whatever. And this was like every day, the last month or so. This was happening like every single day, and I guess now they have gotten to the point where they know that I'm not going to take the call, nor am I going to return the call. So it has stopped, but that has been my experience with the guy who said he was a captain and with the whole Bitcoin scam that they want you to deposit money in this account. And then, there was one that sent me that, they have been tracking all my things and I'm on this website and they can publish photos about me. And I sent the person an email and I said, you can go ahead. I said, whoever knows me well knows that those pictures don't belong to me. So do what you have to do, you know? So that's how,
Right.
that's just stopped on my side, no?
Okay, thanks for sharing, Miss Maya. Yes, you notice how active they are. They really are interested in accessing all of this information, and they're going to continue because it's not just one scammer. It's so many of them out there, numerous, that once they get access to your information, they will attempt, right? And a lot of the times it will be from people or organizations that you have no idea how they got your number, how they got your email, right? But if I can share how they possibly could have gotten that email, right? Say for example, Facebook. When you log into Facebook or you open a Facebook account, you need to give them your email address and of course, other personal information where you put in perhaps your date of birth, sometimes you put in your phone number, and they create a database of all their Facebook users. So they have a database of all Facebook users with their name, their date of birth, their address, their phone number. So what these scammers do, they try to hack Facebook to get that information, right? So once they successfully get that information, what they do now is they try to target you using what they got from their Facebook hack. Okay, so that is how you can receive phishing attempts and still be baffled as to how it is that they got your email address or they got your phone number, for example, Miss Maya. You're not getting calls from international numbers. So that is how they get that information. And I will share with you, since we're at that, I will share with you after a couple of slides, we have this website where you can enter your email address and see if your email address has been victim of any data breach. So data breach would be if someone has hacked a database where your email was a part of it. And what that does, it just gives you an idea of, okay, there are other people that have had access to your email address or to even a phone number that you did not give them access to. Okay. Okay, so thankfully, Ms. Maya, you did not fall victim to any of those attempts, right? Your curiosity, you doubting, and using a lot of questions there. But what to do if you do fall victim of any of these phishing attacks or phishing attempts? So first of all, you want to change your passwords. If you think that you fell victim to one of these phishing attacks, go ahead and change your passwords, right? That's one of the safest things you can do, because if they got access to your old password, by you changing it, they would have to try again to hack your password, right? So that's one of the easiest things to do. And the second one is if they, for some reason, you believe that they gain access to your bank details or your credit card information, call your bank to block any transactions from your credit card or debit card or even your bank account itself until you can sort out what happened. If you're safe enough to go ahead and continue using your banking services, then until then, just ensure that you have taken these measures to protect your money, okay? And of course, if you have fallen victim, unfortunately, Belize doesn't have what we call cybersecurity laws, where we can report these crimes and the individuals prosecuted. Right? All we can do is make a report to the police, but it will be difficult to pursue because, again, as I mentioned, there's no law, and because it's internet, that makes it difficult to pursue. And this is what I was talking to you guys about. Check if your email has been part of a breach. Right? So if I will try one, let me open the link here. One moment, guys. And I will share this link with you guys via the PowerPoint presentation, right? So the website is, the name of the website is Have I Been Pwned? Says check if your email or phone is in a data breach. So I want to check my personal email here. So you enter your personal email in here, and then you go to click pwned. And the result, it says, oh no, you've been pwned. And it says, this email address was part of 4 data breaches. Okay, so there have been 4 instances where hackers got access to my email through data breaches. And if you have time, where it says data breaches, it gives you a hyperlink, and you can click there, right, for further information as to what these data breaches could be, or the nature of the data breaches. Right? So in this case, the first time I had tried it, what I did in response to the results was, okay, let me just change my password, because to be honest, I had used the same password for this email for 3-4 years. Right? And it was until then that I realized, okay, maybe by changing my password this time, it will make it a little bit more safer than what it was before. So again, this is just a quick way for you to verify again the security of your email address. So let me just copy this link here in the PowerPoint so that you guys can get access to that whenever I send it. Okay. Any question regarding phishing, guys? I mean, I know you guys have shared, but you know, in the event any of you have any other question on phishing, please let me know. Ms. Arzu?
How would they access your phone number? I'm not sure. How would they access
your
my
phone number? Okay. The same way they would access your email address. I'm not sure how many of you actually input your phone number when you registered for, let's say, for example, to Facebook. Facebook allows you to enter a phone number. Right? So once you enter that phone number, Facebook logs that into a database. It saves it there. Maybe they don't have bad intentions to use it. But again, there are hackers out there that know that Facebook has this wealth of information. It has like billions of users, so they have billions of names and billions of phone numbers. And the hackers are pretty sure that there are some weak links in those in those users. So what they try to do is get access to that information and use it to attack individual users. So that is one way on how they would get your phone number, Ms. Arzu. You would genuinely give it out to a site or an application that, you know, needs it. But unfortunately, the hackers would attack them and get their email, get your email or your phone number from them. Okay, so it's not something that you would give them freely. Any other question? Okay, guys, let me just jump into the last type of phishing attempts that some of you will come in contact with or would face, right? And that would be the Facebook scams. So when it comes to Facebook scams, these wouldn't come in the form of emails or phone calls. These would come in forms of fake links where they're telling you, okay, you want something or we're giving away something. So if you want to claim part of it, follow this link. Okay, so those are considered fake links. Again, because you don't know if they are legitimately taking you to the right place to claim the prize. These also come in form of fake accounts. So with fake accounts, your friend's account is cloned. So instead of it coming from a hacker's account, it will come as a Facebook friend account. You wouldn't have to, you won't have much hesitance in responding to that friend request, right?
Stop it.
And what are they looking for with these Facebook scams? Usually the same thing that they're doing with the phishing, the email phishing scams, right? They are trying to get access to your details and personal information. So what they're looking for is they need money, they need help, or they try to threaten you, like Miss Maya had shared, they try to threaten you with doing something, with sharing personal details or personal information or private information in exchange to you giving them money in return or you sending them money. Okay, so phishing also happens via Facebook. And here I have a video clip of a phishing victim sharing how it is that she became a victim and gave us an idea of why she trusted the scammer. So let me just make sure that my volume is appropriate, that I have appropriate volume.
If you've been on Facebook or Instagram, you may have noticed this holiday gift exchange offer.
Sorry, guys.
If you've been on Facebook or Instagram, you may have noticed this holiday gift exchange offer. You only have to buy one gift valued at $10 or more and send it to one secret sister, and you will receive up to 36 in return.
It seems to be along the same lines as the Secret Santa, except it's with social media. It was posted on Facebook, and I just thought, oh, well, this looks like fun, and it's coming from a friend who I know very well, and it just looked like something that would be interesting to get into.
But when Mary mentioned secret sister to a coworker, she quickly learned otherwise.
Oh, that's a scam. That's something that, you know, is, you know, not legal and you need to not be involved in that. And
Fortunately, Mary never sent anything to anyone involved in the scheme, but she was disappointed.
I thought it was something personal. I had seen that her family and some of our mutual friends had responded to it, so I really thought that this was something just between friends and family.
Postal inspectors say the scam is similar to a chain letter or even a pyramid scheme. Some people may receive gifts, but for everyone to receive what they've been promised, new recruits must constantly join the group. It's mathematically impossible to sustain. Postal inspectors say be skeptical about anything you see online.
They also play with your emotions. They tell you it's for example, a secret sister gift exchange. It's a great thing to do with your girlfriends online, and you have to keep it secret so that you can benefit off of it and other people don't. Don't let these schemes play off of your fears and your emotions. Make sure that you do your research first.
Okay, so again, these scammers play with your emotions. They impart fear or excitement for you to be able to respond to these scams, right? Always be alert and curious about what's going on Facebook. So what to do when in doubt? Again, always ask for help. If you are not sure, seek someone else's advice, share what your doubt is, and this can help you clarify your mind as to how to respond to an email or a message or a Facebook scam. Okay. I will also share with you guys on the PowerPoint a small test to test out your phishing defense, right? After this session, know that you have received certain awareness, you have seen examples. This link will help you test out to see if you are able to identify when or where red flags would appear when you read an email or certain situation. Okay, so if you can, try it out, try the quiz and see what your rank or your qualification would be, right? It will give you your score at the end. And trust me, sometimes you are like, yes, it looks legitimate. And you say, you know what, I would trust that email, and then bam, what happens? It's a phishing scam, right? So try it out, try to see where you're at when it comes to your phishing knowledge. Okay, guys. So that brings me to the end of phishing, targeting, specifically these 3 practical measures that I wanted to bring across to you guys for you to be able to implement immediately, right? To start again, to build that security foundation that we need for us to be able to safely browse online. Mr. Rodney, I see your hand is up.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ko. There is something which is, I have seen many times online, whether it's Facebook or a message or whatever, and we have been warned about it. I've been warned about it. Like you'd get a message saying, oh, the Pope dancing, or I think you might be familiar with that one, or maybe something about Donald Trump, that he has been arrested or something like that. And you can click on this link and you will get more information, right? The advice I've gotten is to use snopes.com, right, to check to see whether in fact it is truth or whether it's a phishing attempt that is being tried. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Okay, snopes.com. I had not heard of that specific website, but what you are talking about would be, I think, like fake news. right? So those would be fake news links or attempts for you to get you interested in actually following the link. Right, so yes, that is another method for phishing attacks that scammers would use to try to get the users to get hooked to the scam. Yeah, so there are different methods. I think I just touched the tip of the iceberg, right? But the idea was to just encourage you to be curious and to think about the possibilities there is. Even those games that you see on Facebook, like something, for example, I think right quickly out of my head, I think there are games, for example, that says find out what type of car you are based on a test, and it asks you to go to the link and do the test to find out what type of car you are, what type of, or who your soulmate will be, things like that, right? So those are again, that can be a phishing attempt, because then it asks you to go to certain links. It asks you for information about yourself, because how else would they try to figure out what type of car you are, right? They need to ask you personal information. So what they try to do is they try to build a profile, to build your profile, and try to get information from you that can help them get access to your password, to your username, and what's not, right? So yes, they're entertainment. I mean, I would want to kind of know who's going to be my soulmate, but can they really tell me that? I always question that, right? And that's when you realize, well, it doesn't really make sense to run that risk and give them access to my information. Let me see, Mr. Byrne, your hand is up. Mr. Zhu, Mr. Byrne?
Okay, I think what we need to be aware of too is, I have noticed recently on Facebook, there are several, and these are local accounts, and it might be innocent, but they ask questions like, which school did you attend? Or who was your favorite teacher? Questions like that. And some of those answers or questions are some of the same questions that people might use when they are creating their online banking account, and some of the questions that you would answer as you go about entering the account.
Correct, Mr. Byrne. You are right. And this is another term. Let me just try it. Here's something. Okay. That term is called social engineering, right? Social engineering is when people, it could be someone you trust, it could be, again, a scammer. They try to get information from you that will be helpful for them to, again, scam you or make you part of a fraud. And as you very rightly said, these questions are questions used as security questions to banking institutions and to other accounts, right? They normally would ask you, what's your favorite? What's your hobby? What year did you graduate from school? Where did you live when you were young, etc. So as you rightly said, you wouldn't think of it as someone trying to get access to your information. You think it's, it's natural. Someone is trying to get to know you a little bit more. But what they're actually trying to get is that information, the answer to your questions, then, if I can put it that way. So that term is called social engineering. And yes, that's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to scam you and get access to that information. So these hackers are being creative every day. They're coming up with different methods to try to get you to fall victim.
I asked the question.
Miss Cordelia, you have a question?
How many digits legitimate phone numbers should have? Sometimes, like last week, I got a phone call with 12 numbers, 12 digits plus. It has a plus and 12 numbers. And it didn't look real and I didn't touch it. Is that legitimate or is it a scam? What it is?
Okay, so first of all, let me put it this way. A legitimate number means a number that you can trust, because some of these numbers that scammers call from are legitimate numbers.
Okay.
They're not or trustworthy individuals that you want to receive a phone call from, right? So I think it goes back to what I had shared earlier. If it's a number that you know, then more than likely it's something you want to, address. If it's an international number, how often do you normally get international calls? Is it even from a country that you have maybe family members from?
I don't think so.
If that is a no, then is it worth the risk to even call back and find out who it was? Right, so again, it's just questioning, being curious enough and raising those red flags. There's no real way to tell you whether it's someone you can trust or not. It's, again, very personal to you. Yeah. So as long as it's, for Belize numbers, I think it's 7 numbers. 7 numbers. So that way you can tell whether it's a local number or not. And other than that, then it would be an international number.
International.
Yes, and countries, they all have different amount of digits for their local numbers. For Belize, it's
okay.
Yes, for the US, I think it's 9 or 10. I'm not quite sure about that one.
It's 9. I think it's 9. It's 7, 8, 9, 10. But this was like, this is 12 numbers.
12 digits. Okay. So that might be from another country that has 12 digits. So
it could have
these
been
numbers are quite. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was going to say to Ms. Cordelia, it could have been a European number because European numbers they have more than American numbers. The European numbers sometimes go up as far as 15.
15?
So it could have been, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they go up as high as 15, right? But I know that they're more than the European phone numbers usually are more than the American phone numbers. So, you know, so. But
yeah.
If you don't know the number, don't answer it.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Something that I always do, like if it's really an emergency or they really want to contact me, they will try to find other ways to reach out to me, rather than just one missed call from that number.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks very much, Darcy.
Okay, Miss Cordelia. So let me see where we're at, guys, with this. After phishing, we are going to be looking into online banking. Right, so online banking is right next on the list for cyber safety. And let me just start briefly with the introduction of online banking, and then tomorrow we could jump into the more details about specific banks. But when it comes to online banking with Atlantic Bank, Belize Bank, and the credit union. Okay. How many of you are active online banking service users? Do we have a lot of you that use online banking services? Okay, seeing quite some hands up. Miss Francis says yes. Okay, great. So with online banking, a lot of the services and the assistance that we get via online is to make, of course, banking transactions or the entire banking service more efficient and easier for us to access. So what is online banking? Accessing your bank account via the internet, right? Carrying out financial transactions on either a computer, a smartphone, or any other mobile device. Generally, these are quick, these are efficient, and of course, free of service. It's part of a service that the banks are offering, right? Okay, so for those of you that are not using online banking, we're going to walk through the security measures that these banks have for you to be able to feel a little bit more secure in utilizing these services. Right? Especially now during the pandemic, we are encouraging people to stay home to reduce their need to go outdoors to get services because, again, of the exposure. So using online banking really is a good way for us to keep safe. Right? Some of the services that these banks offer via online banking would be, of course, to check your account balance, pay your bills. You can also transfer money from one account to the other. You can also transfer money from one bank account to another bank account. And you can also check your bank statements, right? So basically, most of what you can do when you walk into a bank, you can do via online. But online banking comes with its own risk. Because it is done online, it uses internet to carry out these transactions. It uses internet for us to be able to use or access all these services. And as we mentioned in module 1, whatever we put out onto the internet, it stays there. You don't know who has access to it. You don't know who reads it.
Hello.
Or what they do with it. Yes, Miss March.
Hello.
Miss March, I can hear you.
Hello.
I can hear you, Miss March. Let me see if
I touched something on my phone and I got a different, I lost.
Can you hear me?
Accidentally, I lost you all. It brought a different, that says touch to speak. That is why I touched that, and that's why you hear. Yeah. No,
okay, so you probably turn on your mic. If you're on your phone, just keep on sliding. You might have changed from window. Okay, so yes, as I was sharing with you, online banking comes with its own risk. So we need to implement security measures for us to ensure that whatever we're putting up there on the internet is safe, that is secure, especially because it's banking, right? We relate banking with money, value, finances. So this is not something just like your phone number or your email address. No, we don't value money the same way, right? So this is something that we have to be very, very mindful of. So when it comes to security of online banking, it's a two-pronged approach, right? It's responsibility of the bank and responsibility of the user. So both of us need to ensure that we follow or carry out our security responsibilities to ensure that we are as secure as possible. Now, let's look at the bank's responsibility when it comes to security. Banks are expected to ensure online security on their side, right? How do they do that? They need to use encrypted websites, right? So encrypted or encryption means that it's some sort of safety measure that protects whatever information you have there, and you need to have a certain code or password for you to be able to read or access that information, right? So they use encrypted websites so that whoever tries to access that website needs to have the proper access or authorization to access it. The other way they ensure security is to implement timed logouts. Timed logouts, for those of you that are using online banking, you may have experienced a logout when you are inactive on your account. If you log into your bank account and are inactive for, say, for example, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it automatically logs you out. It kicks you out of the account. And for you to be able to access your account again, you need to re-enter your password or re-enter your PIN number or whatever access code you have, right? So again, that is one way that it ensures online security. The other way that banks ensure that your information is secure is by using different authentication processes. Right, so by using different authentication processes, they try to verify or confirm as much as possible that you are who you say you are. Okay, so if Miss Carol is trying to access Miss Ollie's account, the bank has to ensure that Miss Carol has the authorization to access Miss Ollie's account, right? So, and how do they do that? Maybe Miss Carol accidentally got Miss Ollie's PIN number, but that doesn't mean she's authorized to access the account, right? So by using different authentication processes, the banks ensure that, okay, maybe she has a password account, but does she know her secret questions? Does she have another PIN number? Right. So this is how the bank again ensures that you are who you say you are when it comes to accessing bank information. So your responsibility as an online banking user now, your responsibility to ensure that your account is secure includes not reusing the same password for different accounts, right? So if you have, if you're using the same password for your bank account and for your email address, that is already a risk for your online banking service. again, use a strong password or a strong PIN number for your bank account. Never share them to anyone, unless again, it's someone you trust and you feel that you can share that information, then you go ahead and do so. But my recommendation, do not share a password or a PIN via text message, because once you send it through text message, the receiver can save that password or PIN for later use. Or maybe the person you sent it to via text message does not have any ill intentions, but their phone is hacked, or someone else accesses their phone and sees your password and your PIN number. Right, so there's always that risk. And last but not least, always log out of your online banking session, especially if you use a device that others have access to. Right, so normally, for those of us that use online banking, sometimes the website would prompt you to save your password or to save all your account information so that next time you need to access it, you don't have to do that all over again. It's okay if the device is yours and only you use it and you have a lock to that device. Right? But if that's not the case, do not save your password on your browser or on your device, because again, anyone can access that and they will gain access to your information. Right, so again, online banking security is responsibility of both the bank and of the user. Okay. So with that, guys, we will end today's session, and tomorrow we'll look at setting up online banking service in the event you haven't, or at least just walk you through as to when you're setting up your bank account to notice the different security measures that the bank has implemented, right? And we'll also look into, as I had shared earlier, there are a couple of examples of the online banking service that is provided by Atlantic Bank and the Belize Bank. Let me see here. Yes, so that's again for tomorrow. And let me know if you have any questions before we officially end today's session. Any question regarding today's content? Please feel free to ask or to share. Okay, guys, well, I want to believe that, I did a good job at sharing the information and that I was pretty much clear and that you understood and know or are more aware as to how to deal with phishing attempts. Okay, so with that said, thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you too. Good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, Delcy. Very nice session again. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of eye openers. Thanks again.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so. Very good.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone.
You too.
Good evening, everyone.
Sherry.